All right, let's cut it. Let's do it live. No Chinese lights in the back. I'm too irritated that they are no longer moving around. And to be honest, lately, I just don't even know if I'm streaming until like 20 minutes before showtime because it's the summer. My kids are running around outside. It's hotter later in the day. It's still bright out. And so by the time I get back in here, it's always like, I don't even know if I'll stream. So I'm here though, and we're together forever. And let's talk, man. Let's talk some things. I mean, we have a team that's already in the finals. That would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. I was pretty surprised. I thought that the Timberwolves would put up a better effort than they did, but they slobber knocked them. And quite frankly, the Pacers are doing that to the Knicks right now, and they could end that series today. Even though the Knicks are favored, it's in New York. They're favored by, I believe, 6.5 or 5.5 points. I wouldn't be shocked though if the Knicks take this one, and then we'll see if they can manage to steal one on the road. I mean, they were good on the road versus an injured Boston team. Can they do it? Or before they were injured? I mean, I won't take anything away from the Knicks, but Kristaps Porzingis obviously had like long COVID or something, but you never know. The Knicks could definitely do something, but it definitely at this point, it's not a difficult prediction to say that the finals look like they're going to be the Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's interesting. I mean, those are two very small market teams. They are two teams that are not paying any taxes in terms of luxury taxes. It's the first time, I think, in probably decades. I don't know. I just saw a quick headline just now, but that these two teams are in the finals that are not paying any luxury tax money. So pretty amazing. Pretty amazing also that Sam Presti, Oklahoma City, could get their team this good this quickly. That's pretty unbelievable if you think about it. And they probably still have a whole stockpile of draft picks, knowing Sam Presti. But really impressive stuff. I have a feeling that the Thunder will be very heavily favored. I know that they were favored before we knew who was in the finals, but they just look very strong. They look like they're playing some of their best basketball. They're very, very strong on the defensive end. And you know what they say, that defense wins championships. So I think it's the easy money has to be on the Thunder, whether or not the Pacers get there, which it looks like they will as of right now, or whether the Knicks are able to pull off the incredible, if they can pull off a LeBron-esque 3-1 comeback. Not looking too good, though. That's not something that normally happens. So we shall see what happens. And there's a little bug crawling across my monitor. Great. Bodwine says he went 2K my GM IRL. So he's talking about Sam Presti. Yeah, Sam Presti. I mean, what he's done over the last decade has to be a masterclass. I don't think anyone has done what he's done. It's unbelievable. So that's the NBA playoffs. That's the NBA finals happening. In Top Shot, though, we do have the WNBA that has started, and the WNBA is on the homepage of Top Shot right now. And I saw somebody, I think it may have been Chubby Hooper, who is sometimes in the chat. I think he said, though, that he doesn't like the fact that the WNBA is front and center during the NBA finals. And I guess I have to agree, to be honest, but I think that obviously the reason is because people like this stuff. They like picking up these packs, and look at that. There's 4,000 packs and 30,000 orders. So people like these packs. They want to get their hands on these rookies, and it's pretty cool too because we're going to see autographs now. All these rookies are going to have autographs or autographed. I think I don't know if it's legendaries that are autographed or what it is, but they're all going to have the ability to get autograph moments. So that's pretty exciting. There's this thing right here that says get all, there's like a trade in where you can get the autographs based on an auction. And I haven't looked too, this is to get the rookie debut crate, excuse me. All 17 moments, 5 signature series rookie debut autograph moments, and all 12 rookie debut moments. So that's what's going on right now. The person in first place is El Scorcho. Oh, excuse me. And he is traded in over $1,000. So let's see. It looks like 2 people will win this because there's 1 and 2 ranking. Yeah. So if you're into that, go ahead and check it out. Otherwise, what's going on? If you go to the front page, you have the climb and the brink, and you got like these mini hits, and you got a lot of packs on demand lately. You have some challenges that are live, but as of right now, it seems like what Top Shot has been doing during the playoffs is just like a really steady cadence of packs when interesting things happen during the games, just giving you little chances to rip something all the time, like this mini where you can buy it for $4 and get a $2 buyback. And the buyback, we talked about that, but that's obviously a big part of what they're doing right now. And I think that is cool. I think that is cool. Like, I haven't really racked my brain about it. I mean, one thing I thought about though is like, I think the buybacks are for a limited time, if I'm not mistaken. So if you were to buy this pack later, I don't think that there'd be the buyback. Or if you buy it on the secondary, maybe I don't think there's the buyback. But nonetheless, this is a really cool feature, and I don't think we've ever seen this anywhere else in the digital collectible space, and obviously not in the physical collectible as far as I know. But anyway, that's what's going on right now on NBA Top Shot. So what else is going on, and what else do you guys want to talk about? We got a few people in the chat today, and let me know what you guys want to talk about. But one interesting thing that I saw on the timeline today is that everyone is typing out "go with the flow" and they're making their screen or their PFPs purple, and that is because of this Disney Pinnacle thing that's going on. So if I were to look that up right now, let's see. I can go share that with you. I know that Steve actually shared something about it. So let's go see it. So it's right here. So basically everyone who has Disney Plus, which is 50 million people, they are able to redeem 1 free open edition mystery capsule every month, plus they can claim an additional $10 in Dapper credit for the next month. So it'll be interesting to see how many people take advantage of this. They're also hinting that something's going to happen on June 12th. I'm not sure what that means, but this is pretty cool. And I mean, sorry, I wasn't sharing it, but this aligns very well with everything that we've been saying about what Flow is and what Flow is trying to be. And, it's the normie blockchain, and we've been talking about that for years. And these are the kind of events that really drive it home. Like, this is a more normie example of connecting with digital collectibles than probably anything else that we've ever seen, I would say. So very cool to see this. I don't know how long this was in the workings or what it takes to be able to offer the Disney Plus audience this stuff, but it's very cool, and I'm really curious to see how many people decide to opt in. So that's that. Why don't we also go check out Own the Moment real quickly? I think it's always cool to see that. So if we're sharing on the moment right now, we can see what's going on, let's say in the last week. So it looks like sales are down in the last week. The market cap is slightly up. Pack sales are up by 30%. The high offer market cap is pretty much stable. Buyers and sellers is down quite a bit, which is cool, and buyers are pretty stable. So we're always waiting for that situation where there's more buyers than sellers. But anyway, that's what's going on over the past week. I guess if we go over the past month, it looks relatively stable in terms of market cap. Over the last month, we are seeing about 14,000 active users. Over the last 3 months, we're seeing 42,000 active users. Um, I think that also I wanted to touch on one thing, which is if we talk about fast break for a second. So fast break, in my estimation, is one of the most fun things to do on Top Shot. But I think that as of right now, fast break during the playoffs has left something to be desired, because it becomes a game where you can only really play the good players if you have the most limited edition stuff, if you have the legendaries and up. I mean, if you have ultimates. Um, and I suppose if you're just really into it for, bragging rights, but otherwise, I don't know. It's something where during the regular season, there's a lot more ways to win, or at least it feels that way. And obviously, it's because the players are playing multiple times in a week. You can only use them a couple times, let's say, if you have rares, and obviously only once if you have commons. But I think that hopefully next series they can rethink this a little bit. I just personally think that it would be cool if you could keep people engaged, and maybe you just make much shorter runs and you still have like a harder run for people that are holding legendaries with better rewards, but you come up with some way for people who are holding commons and rares to keep on playing. Because, like, for example, I mean, this isn't exactly rocket science to anybody, but I have a lot of rares in my collection. I mean, probably there's people in this chat that have way more than I do, but I think I have a pretty decent amount of rares, and I don't think I can fill a lineup. I can't fill a lineup today. So that should tell you everything you need to know. I mean, the only player I can play today is Jalen Brunson, and that's it. That's my lineup today. So that, in my opinion, that kind of hurts the fun of fast break a little bit during one of the most fun times of the year, which is the NBA playoffs and NBA finals. So to think that during this period and during your most fun game, you're going to lose the engagement of most of your audience that enjoys playing this is probably not a good thing. So that's my take there. I mean, can we see how many people made lineups already? So 1,794 collectors made lineups, which is pretty high, actually. That's higher than I would imagine. And if we go to night one, 3,761. So that's about 50% drop from night one to where we are right now. So anyway, let's see what else is going on. Peachy says, "What's your streak? Are we going streaking?" My best streak, or just my streak? Like, I had a great start in this run. I had 4 straight wins, but now I'm cooked because of what I just talked about. My best streak, 8 is my longest streak. I've had 138 wins. So it would be cool too if we had more badges, because obviously 50, but I've had over 100. I should have 100 badge, shouldn't I? And honestly, I think that you should get some milestone rewards, just for things like this. You should be rewarded for coming back to this platform over and over again. And that's something that I thought about in the past too, is that, for example, there could be an ad right here of like whatever, NBA TV or whatever, or Cheetos. I don't care. But you could make a little bit of ad revenue off a page like this. However, whatever it is, and you could give that back, a portion of that, to your players that are coming back all the time and loading these pages over and over again, giving all those impressions. And you could give little gifts because they've won 150 times. I think that would be a nice way of rewarding people that just keep on coming back to play, whether or not they're the best players. I think that is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, think about it. Do it, Top Shot. If we look at my bracket challenge, I was looking really good when we started the playoffs, I must say. I mean, I predicted the Timberwolves upset of the Lakers. Thank you very much. Um, the Nuggets, I would argue, were not such a hot pick, and I chose them as well. I definitely thought the Rockets were going to win, though, but obviously that didn't happen. I predicted the East 100% correct, although those were all favorites. But I want to say that I don't think the Pacers were heavy favorites. But anyway, so yeah, after that though, obviously complete disaster. I'm curious how many people um have this right up until now. If we look, can we see these? Can we see their brackets? No. See, this is kind of silly too. Like you should be able to see these people's brackets. It's already locked. Like, why can't I see the bracket? I should be able to see the bracket. But anyway, this guy has 12 correct picks, 28 total points. So there we go. Ginobili Source, look at that, tied for second. OnlyTan, Ginobili Source. Any other OnlyTans at the top? I'm not sure, but there's Judgy. Look at that. Anyway, so yeah, I liked this idea though. This was a lot of fun. I mean, there should definitely be ways to just keep on making this more and more fun as we go and in forward series. Ways of, predicting individual nights or individual things like that. There's got to be a lot of fun things to do. So Top Shot Hotshot says, rest in peace to his fast break this run. Boston based asking if we're going streaking. He says, I'm a man of the people. Bobby Digital has 7 wins this run. That's pretty amazing. Top Shot Hotshot says, seems like a $2 floor for many of the comments for the players left. Well, that's also Top Shot Hotshot. I think that's also a reflection of just the fact that, the players left, like you're still not going to be able to put, you're not going to be able to put up great lineups because most of the best players have already been used. So, even if you buy those players, how many players have not already used the stars? How many users have not already used the stars in their lineup? So it doesn't even matter. They're not going to want to buy the commons anyway. Let's see. Bobby Digital says he's had 152 with a streak of 13. That's pretty amazing. Not too many Tandys. Yep, not too many Tandys. By the way, it says when truckloads of Cheetos. That's a good question. Top Shot Hotshot said Tandy should be giving us prizes for showing up to these streams. Well, you're not wrong, Top Shot Hotshot. If YouTube would like throw me some money, then we could definitely do something like that. But we need more fanatics in these videos, watching these videos. Yacht loads of Cheeto fingers, says Bobby Digital, and Boston Bay says Tandy isn't planning ahead. You need to set lineups strategically. Well, excuse me, Boston based. So that's what's going on. What else? Yeah, so WNBA is going on. It's always cool though to see them tinker with stuff in the WNBA. It's always fun to like sort of see what kind of things they're playing around with. I know that I mentioned this last time. We talked about playoffs. We talked about Disney. And the other thing I wanted to say too is like, I think that they're like Top Shot's pretty much just kind of executing without any real issues. And I think that the audience of Top Shot probably are not used to that. It just seems like they're humming along. Like a really cool play happens. It gets minted nearly immediately, or at least it gets for sale nearly immediately. And you're seeing these packs when, Karl Anthony Towns has a huge game and they sell those immediate packs. That is cool. And I think we talked about this last week or the week before, but that is cool. That is different. You see like Tops Now do similar ideas, and that's why Top Shot's doing it, I would imagine, like because it works. So I am in favor of that kind of stuff, and I'm curious to see how that also evolves over time. I did see somebody on the timeline talking about though end of season leaderboard rewards and wondering what there is in terms of updates on that. It does seem like a little bit of a missed opportunity that we haven't heard more of that yet. I mean, there's only probably a few weeks, or however long they drag out these NBA finals, but There's only probably a couple more weeks until it's the end of the NBA season, and you should do really impressive, fun, engaging NBA related things when everyone's watching and paying attention to the NBA. Because my concern is that we're going to hear about this and the timing's not going to be great, and you're just doing something that's potentially really cool but doesn't get a lot of eyeballs, or people just don't care that much because they've already moved on to something else. So if and when we find out about this leaderboard stuff, I hope that it is something that the people on those leaderboards can get excited about, and I hope that it's something that we hear about before the end of the or the playoffs, before the end of the season. Um, Anything else? I mean, we can talk a little bit about a little bit of Twitter. That's always fun. There's something that I wanted to share. It's a little bit of a tangential, and it's a little weird. So let's run it. Here it is. You can now buy soap that contain drops of Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Huh. That's right. You can now buy soap that contains drops of Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Now, we don't know if Sydney Sweeney uh was she particularly dirty getting into this bath, because I think that the simps would probably pay extra if she was filthy. But anyway, 5,000 bars of soap that contains drops of her bathwater. It's a pretty surprising offer. Um, I think if you're a simp, if you're a big time simp, the fact that her like any part of her DNA is in that bar of soap is enough to probably make it worth a lot to you. And Boston Base comes up with a good comment here, which is that it's not a bad buy for resale. I would agree. Top Shot Hotshot used the soap and his man breasts have enlarged. Look, okay. And Boston Bay says dudes are crazy these days licking chairs. I haven't seen that yet, but I did see something else though about how OnlyFans is like the most, by far, far and away, the most profitable company compared to their overhead and their costs. And that makes a lot of sense. And it also makes a lot of sense that the kind of people that are paying hundreds of dollars per month to see some woman that they follow on social media and get to see her naked knockers out, it would make sense that those are the kind of people that are going to want to buy this soap. I just think it's funny though that like it's literally a drop of soap, and it's probably, I mean, it's kind of a weird conversation, but I imagine that people talk about her bathwater because they'd like to be, um, I don't know, this is getting weird. But yeah, people want to like have the bathwater. They want her bathwater of her lying naked in a bath, right? That's kind of where it comes from. And what's funny about this is I imagine like she's probably wearing a swimsuit or something in here. Or even if she's not, it's literally a one drop of water, and you don't even know what kind of a fractionalized drop of a drop that is, but it's enough for these kind of OnlyFans subscribers to still go ahead and buy it and probably frame it or something. What about if you washed yourself with this soap? Um, would you feel like you're somehow closer to Sydney Sweeney? I guess that's what it is. I mean, anybody who would do something like that is probably a bit of a creep and a bit of a danger to society. Because somebody said here on Twitter, which I agree with, that anyone who buys this belongs on a watch list. Like, can you imagine this coming to your house in a package and you explaining this to your wife or your girlfriend? Oh, I got us some new soap. It has Sydney Sweeney's bathwater in it. Like if she doesn't leave you immediately, then there's something wrong here. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is let's simp.
Let's sim.
Let's sim.
Let's sim.
Let's sim. Let's sim. Let's sim.
Boston Bay says, I'd like to try to sell my bathwater, see how that goes. I think that's a really clever idea, Boston Base, and I think that the Top Shot community would love it. I definitely suggest you try it out. Make some, just extract some bathwater, put it in some soap, and see how that goes. It would be funny if this became a trend and all of a sudden everyone starts selling bathwater. Charles Barkley sells his bathwater. Shaquille O'Neal sells his bathwater in a soap or perhaps a men's cologne. I think that we're onto something here, and I think we should definitely keep it going and go forward with this idea. So I support this idea, Boston Base, and I look forward to buying soap that contains your bathwater in it. Anyway, what else is going on? Let me know in the chat if you guys want to talk about anything else that I may be missing. I'm trying to see if anything else is happening this week. And we can always talk technical analysis, the non-technical analysis, technical analysis part of the show. I know that I think it was Chubby actually. He was messaging me and he was asking me about like when to get in and out of Bitcoin. So we can definitely talk about that. We do tend to enjoy talking about Bitcoin on this stream lately. So we could share that. I mean, my charts are a little ugly right now, but we could still share it. Let's see if I can turn this off a little bit to make it a little less ugly. Let's see. Whatever. You guys can look at an ugly chart for a minute. So this is for Chubby. Chubby wanted to talk about Bitcoin and when to get in and out of a Bitcoin trade. Now, of course, I can't tell you exactly what to do or where it's going to go, but we can kind of make some predictions. So right now on this pretty ugly chart, maybe I should, whatever. I'm going to keep it ugly. Sorry, guys. There's a whole lot of lines back there. Damn. I don't even know what half those lines are right now. Maybe I should turn off some of this stuff. Is that this? Yeah, let's turn that off. Okay. So this is the daily chart on Bitcoin. And you can see that back here on Thursday, May 8th, that's when we were streaming actually. And that's when we saw a gigantic pop from $97,000 all the way up to $103,000. So that was a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And then we can actually just kind of do this based on the show. So if we go back again, this was happening the next week. So here you can see that when price is in this kind of a square, right? So if we make a little square like this and do this, and you can see that price is kind of consolidating. It can't decide if it's going up or down, right? It's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. And then what happened next is that we did break out right here. See, we broke out right here to 106,493. And after that, we tested it again and popped right back up. And now we're pretty much testing it again. So you see today literally tested almost to the cent. It even looks like almost, or like a few dollars difference, right? $100 difference, which is nothing in terms of the price of Bitcoin. You can see that price has shot up. It's come back down to test this area once again. So this is a key area. And if this price rejects here and continues up, so it bounces here or just rejects off this price area and continues up, then you would have to think that we're going to go back up here and beyond, up around $112,000. So in terms of Chubby's question about like when to get in and out, again, it's like almost impossible for me to say. But what you don't want to see when you're looking at a chart like this is you don't want to see any major lows get taken out. So if we pull up the horizontal line, right? What you don't want to see is any major supports get taken out. So if we think about that line again, you don't want to see right here. If we dip below this area right here, 100,716, then I would say it's very possible that we go to 97.9, and also possible that we come down here to this consolidation area around 94. And then we could just keep on dipping. I mean, if that's what it wants to do. But pretty much to Chubby and to everyone else, the best advice I can give you when purchasing this or any other coin is that if we're breaking previous highs, you don't want to just jump right in. You always want to wait a little bit. Because even though it did take off right here, you can see that often when we break a high, we reject. Or like when we're right around these highs, we often reject. So it's always better. It's always safer. It's always a more probable trade to, if you want to go long, you want to look for a dip, like a pullback, and then a reaction the other way. So if this is the daily chart, what you want to do then is get on a lower time frame, such as the 4-hour chart, and look for a pullback. So for example, when this hits these highs and comes down here, and then it starts going up here, that's a potential pullback, which then fails. This is another potential pullback, which has now failed. So like right now with the price action, the way it looks right now, it definitely looks like Bitcoin wants to come back down to around here, which is like 103. And once it comes down to 103, then we need to see if it reacts or if it continues downward. The other thing to consider too, though, is that Bitcoin is moving hand in hand with like the S&P and with the NASDAQ, though. Although if we look at the NASDAQ here on the 4-hour, it actually looks healthier than Bitcoin. So that's the NASDAQ on the 4-hour. It looks pretty flat. And that's Bitcoin on the 4-hour, which looks less flat, which looks like it's sloping down. So that's Bitcoin. I know you guys like to talk about flow. We can look at flow, see if it looks the same. It looks pretty much the same. Ethereum, though, funny enough or interesting enough, Ethereum is outperforming, I think, everything right now. Ethereum is a much more solid looking chart at the moment. And I don't think anyone predicted this was going to happen, because Ethereum has been the sort of the laughing stock for a long time. But you compare Ethereum to Bitcoin, you compare Ethereum to Solana, and Ethereum is actually holding up the best out of those three very popular cryptocurrencies. So there is your non-financial financial advice. And let's see what else is going on in the chat. So let's see. Stan says, I only came here for the fist bump. Well, let's give it to you, Stan.
So I appreciate it. Yeah, man, that was an awkward fist bump. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Just gonna clip that. It's gonna go viral. Jesus Christ. No, I appreciate it. It was weird.
But Stan actually brings up an interesting point here, which is like you sell Bitcoin when the dollar stops losing value, which is never. And that's actually like a really interesting point, because I know people are getting all excited about Bitcoin being over $100,000, and it is exciting. It is exciting that a digital currency can be worth this much money. And some people are trying to guess like, well, what's the top of the cycle, or what's the top? Is it going to reject? Is it going to go all the way back down? But the point is that digital assets are only getting more and more accepted. So sometimes it doesn't really make sense to me, like why we see these big headlines about, oh, Qatar is going to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin or something, and the price kind of stays the same, or Michael Saylor buys a bunch of it and the price stays the same. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But at the same time, I do think that the future of currency is going to potentially be like Bitcoin will be like gold is for the dollar, I think. And we're going to see more and more digital currencies being used, or just more often that they'll be used. And for that reason, I think that the adoption is just going to keep growing. I think a lot of people don't even know what like a cryptocurrency is, or what a cryptocurrency wallet is. And now that countries are buying, and businesses like GameStop are putting it on their balance sheet. And I think today I saw that PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, who by the way are playing in the championship, if you're into football, on Saturday, they're also putting it in their treasury. So it seems like adoption just keeps on going up. It doesn't always correlate directly to the price for whatever reason. But if you want to believe, if you want to be bullish to adoption, then I don't think you can argue against the fact that this stuff is just getting more and more. Oh, my stream seems to be having some trouble, but that's okay. So Stan says, take some profits when it improves your life and always keep a moon bag. Boston says, so Barron gets rejected from Harvard and Trump bans foreign students. Go the flow with, he says. ETH hype, Iraqi dinar is where the money's at. And Stan says, fun fact, I used to work for an Ethereum token-based startup. Look at that, Stan. So you must just be loaded with Ethereum. You must just have crazy amounts of money with Ethereum. One of those yachts over there in that picture must be yours, Stan. I know it. You're probably watching Tandy Time on your yacht right now, aren't you, Stan? What else, guys? Tell me something else you want to talk about. I mean, big surprise. I don't have that much to talk about. And honestly, I think that during the summer, this is getting a little every week I don't even know if I'm streaming, like I said at the start of the show. So we might need to just dial back a little bit and maybe expect it to stream once every couple weeks, unless something really pressing happens that we really need to talk about. But let me know what else you guys want to talk about. Here's a fun story. I had a papule in my nose, in my nostril, that was removed the other day. How's that for a story? I didn't know that these things could grow inside your nose because you got a cold. My doctor told me that it comes from having a virus. So I literally had like a little thing growing in my nostril, and then they injected it and sliced it out. And I didn't even ask to see it. I mean, for a minute there, after they sliced it out, I almost thought about asking to see it. And I almost thought about saying, can I have it so that I can feed it to the dogs outside? But I thought better of it. And I just kept it professional. I didn't crack any jokes about feeding the dogs the papule that was inside my nostril. Anything else? Anything else, everybody? There's a movie out that I really want to see with Tim Robinson called Friendship. Weisberg in the corner. Stan Loves wants Weisberg in the corner. Okay.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight. Losing my religion. Trying to keep up with you. And I don't know if I can do it. Oh no, I've said too much. I haven't said enough.
By the way, is On the Break pod still happening? I'm really behind. I have no time to do anything anyway any longer. Boston Base says, I would see that movie with you if you lived near me. Well, thank you, Boston Base. That's very kind. You know, what do you guys think though about this? Is kind of an aside, but seeing movies with friends, I don't know. I always thought it was kind of weird to go with somebody, even like with your wife or whatever, or a girlfriend or friend, to watch a movie because you're just sitting there silently. You know? Are there any other activities that you just sit there silently next to someone? Like, let's go sit silently next to each other and be entertained. Boston Bay says is normal. Maybe I mean, I'm not surprised to say that I am not very normal. I know that I'm not very normal in many ways. But I've always kind of preferred, theater as well. I know it's true. But I've always preferred activities that were a little more engaging. Which brings me back to escape rooms. If you guys haven't done escape rooms, I swear to God, they're a lot of fun. I swear, I always thought that they were lame, nerdy, and maybe they are a little bit nerdy. But I think everyone's a little nerdy, okay? No one here is too cool for school. I really recommend it. If you've never done it, that's a fun activity with a friend, with a lover. Uh, escape rooms. That's what I'm trying to say. And Boston Bay says, I have a question for the streamer. Thoughts on Mexican dishes? My thoughts on Mexican dishes are Mexican dishes, when done well, are absolutely fantastic. When I was traveling in California, I would have a lot of very good burritos, and they were excellent. And there's actually really good burritos in Boston as well, and like in New York, but Boston, there's a place called Anna's Taqueria. Quite good. And they've expanded, got much bigger. There's other similar places like that. So there's some pretty damn good Mexican in Boston, but I think the best I ever had was probably in California. Just excellent burritos where it's just like the meat and the beans and the veggies. You got to get the grilled veggies. They put the cheese in there, and it's just the burrito is it's so full, and yet it fits in your hand, and it's just perfect. And then you also get the nachos. You get the nachos with the guacamole as well. You get the soda. You drink the soda. You eat the nachos with the guac. You eat the burrito. You maybe steal a little bit of the quesadilla from your wife, and that's just money right there. That's money in the bank. And quesadillas are actually my go-to meal for when I'm too lazy to actually prepare anything more complicated than that. So I always have mozzarella cheese, aka shaky cheese. They call it shaky cheese. And you always got to have that around. You always got to have the tortillas around. You throw a little bit of sauce, my wife likes it with the tomato sauce in there. So you throw a little bit of sauce in there. You throw a little bit of corn in there. You throw in the cheese, the shaky cheese. You throw in a little bit of the basil. No, sorry, not the basil, the oregano. You throw a little bit of oregano. You throw a little bit of garlic powder. And voila. Very good, very tasty. You put a little butter in the pan, you fold that thing up, and you sear it on both sides, and you eat it hot, and it tastes good, and it's not hard to do. That's my go-to meal. So thank you for that question about Mexican food. Stan Love says, did you finally watch Demolition Man and learn about the 3 seashells? I did not, Stan Love. Sorry. Stop Shot Hot Chat says, shouldn't Weisberg's face be on the lead singer's body? That's true. It should. Anna's is great, says Boston-based. Top Shot Hot Chat says, there's a taco truck near my office that sells amazing $1.50 tacos, lunch for $3. We need more Mexican immigrants. Amen to that, although you might be eating squirrel meat. Boston says, probably one of the most impressive things I've seen lately is Nathan Fielder in the rehearsal. He learned to pilot a 737. I heard about this. I haven't watched it yet. I watched the first few episodes of the rehearsal, the first season, and it was pretty funny. It was pretty silly. It's pretty out there, but I think like the first few seasons of Nathan For You were really funny to me in a way that I enjoyed a bit more. The rehearsal is a bit of a slow boil, but it definitely has some funny moments in there. That's true. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Let's hit me with whatever you guys want to talk about. Otherwise, let's just see. I'm going to take a look at what else is going on. What else is going on Twitter? If there's anything else worth talking about. Let's see. Anything else worth talking about today? Anything else worth talking about today? I don't know. Oh, AI video. That's worth talking about. AI video. I'm sure you guys have seen it already. These Google VO3 videos, but the quality of AI video is actually really getting scary. It is so good that it's impossible. It's getting almost impossible to see what is fake and what is real. And I always thought of myself as someone who could tell pretty quickly what's fake and what's real. But we are getting to that point where it's getting nearly impossible to tell. It used to be that you could see little things. Like I would look at the mouth, the way the mouth moved, or I would see the teeth and they'd look a little funny, or the way a hand would move. It's almost getting impossible though now to see the difference. And that's freaky for a lot of different reasons. First of all, if you think about the fact that all of these like Zoomers, as they're called, these people that are a bit older than us on like Facebook, they are all going to get tricked by this stuff. That's first of all. Second of all, imagine during really important things like political things when they start using fake news. Now you can make fake video that looks 100% real. So when they're saying that like Hillary Clinton is eating babies and stuff like that, and then they make videos that literally look perfect with Hillary Clinton eating babies, or you can go down the list. I mean, it doesn't have to be Hillary Clinton eating babies. It can be anything you want to dream up. And there's going to be videos that look 100% real. That's going to be crazy. And it makes me think that moving forward, some way, there's going to need to be a way where AI video is automatically marked as AI video, or real video is automatically marked as real video. And I think that, yeah, this is something that needs to happen pretty quickly. The other thing to consider about AI video, to see how good it's gotten, how quickly and how good it's gotten, it just makes me think that it's a shame that AI is basically going to take like everyone's job in the next. I mean, if it's not already taking all the writers, I'm seeing a lot of writers that are now unemployed because AI can just do your job better and more quickly most of the time. So writers are losing their work. After this, like videographers are going to be losing their work. People that make commercials, people that need to, or people that sell stock footage, they're going to all be losing their work. Like millions of people are going to lose their work and lose their livelihoods because of AI. And a few companies at the top are going to get massively wealthy and everyone else is going to lose their work. So like Google and Nvidia and ChatGPT, OpenAI, Microsoft, Facebook, like these are the companies that are going to print multiple billions of dollars off this stuff. And the common average person are going to lose their work. And like the jobs that are going to be most valuable are going to be the ones just that robots can't do, like fixing toilets and fixing electricity and building houses. And, even like teachers, I would say, are in trouble because there's going to be AI ways of teaching with AI, and that's just going to get better and better. Like it's a bit freaky. Like it's incredible what AI is able to do, but we need some kind of checks and balances. Like when Elon Musk was talking about how he was kind of against this rapid proliferation of AI and he didn't trust the people doing it, I think that we are now seeing that he was onto something, because if you think about it, OpenAI started as a nonprofit, and now OpenAI is no longer a nonprofit. I believe it's owned by Microsoft, or it's a for-profit company. So when you have for-profit companies, what they're trying to do is to increase value for their shareholders above all else. So if that means millions of people lose their jobs, so be it. If it means that their shareholders can increase the value of their investment, that's all that matters. So it's a bit of a scary future for to see what AI is going to be like. Like if this is what AI looks like now with this video, can you imagine what AI is going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? You're not going to be able to tell the difference whatsoever. And it's going to be rapid. I mean, it's crazy that I think a little over a year ago, it was that Will Smith eating spaghetti AI video that looked insanely bad. And now Google VO3 is giving you videos that are not only perfect in terms of the video quality, but it also is generating the audio as well, which is insane. So depending on the setting, the audio also sounds perfect. So yeah, scary times ahead. It's very cool and very exciting, but at the same time, it's very scary of what this could mean for millions of people. Anyway, that's my little rant. Stan thought that the kangaroo with the passport was real. I saw that, and I also thought that it was real. Boston Base saying it's not cheating to have sex with AI. Well, Boston Base, I won't tell. I won't tell your wife that you're having sex with Mike Weisberg's voice. LB says, "Hey everyone, give me your Disney Plus login, please." And I probably wouldn't watch a 100% realistic video of someone eating babies. I wouldn't either. I'm just using examples here. And Bobby Digital says, "Wait, Trumpy isn't real, and Tandy is AI, by the way. And I'm going to toilet fixing school. And Demolition Man has AI sex, by the way." You know, I remember that movie Her. I was talking about this the other day with my wife. Like, I remember watching Her and thinking, well, I don't know if I thought when I was watching that like this is definitely going to happen, but I'm sure that there was a part of me watching that thought, if this idea is this realistic, then something like this probably will happen. And I remember watching that movie when Joaquin Phoenix, like, I can't remember what happens when he gets like intimate with the AI. I think I think the AI suggests that he hires like a worker, a sex worker. I'm pretty sure that's what happens. And yeah, that's where this is all going, isn't it? And I remember watching it too when he's like hanging out with his friends and he's laughing and joking and with the AI, and they're kind of involved in and like treating the AI like a real person as well. And that's the part that still feels far off to me, because AI, in my opinion, it works really well for what it is. You know, this language learning model that you can just talk to, it can just help you think through things. It can kind of like, I think one of the coolest things, honestly, is that it has a memory of the things that you've told it. So, like, if you say, "Oh, I'm really struggling with XYZ today," it can say, like, "Oh, you remember when you were struggling with that months ago and we talked about this and here's what we came up with, and have you thought about this and have you tried that?" Like, it's pretty amazing for that reason, even though China's harvesting all my data, but that's still pretty cool. Although I still can't come to the idea of having my chat GPT open at like the table, for example, and sitting with friends and being like, "Hey, why don't you include my chat GPT in this conversation?" That's the part about that movie that still feels very far off. And just like everything else felt far off, I'm sure that a few years from now, it'll probably feel less far off, to be honest. And imagine like those people in Asia that are all lonely and like the birth rates are so low, like where is it in like Japan, I think? Like this is straight up their alley. And not only that, but the crazy thing I think too with this OnlyFans and AI and sort of tying this up in a loop right now is that on Instagram, there's actually fake influencers or fake women that they're fake, and then the simps are still buying their OnlyFans. That is insane. It's like it's not even a real person, and you still want to see their AI boobs. That's crazy. And that's crazy, and that's also like where somehow we're going with this all, and that's just boggles my mind. Anyway, let's keep it going. LB says Scarlett Johansson has a great voice. She does. And Stan Love says she was not a worker. She was a willing participant. She did it for free. Okay. Sorry, Stan Loves. I don't remember like you do. I don't have a steel trap of a memory like you do, Stan Loves. We're almost at an hour. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss? Let me know. Even though we are at 10 o'clock my time, and we're at the top of the hour for you guys. But if there's like one more thing you guys want to discuss, we can. Otherwise, I'll see you. I don't know if I'll see you next week or not, because like I said, it's been kind of hard. Almost as crazy as TS Simp, says LB. Let's see. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Yeah, I guess that's all I got. That's all I got. You know what's sad is that since StreamYard doesn't let me stream to multiple places without paying like $40 a month, I can't run this video anymore. Twitch guy! It's a great video, and I can't run it. Dune 3 or Avengers Doomsday? Stan, I'll be honest with you. I've not seen Dune 1 or 2, even though I heard it was good. And Avengers Doomsday, I don't care at all about Marvel movies at all. The last Marvel movie that I enjoyed was Iron Man 1. And that was what, 20 years ago? I know. Stan's disgusted right now. Yeah, sorry, Stan. I just don't really care. I know. I'm sorry. I'm definitely a weirdo in many ways in life. I'm just I don't go with the flow, I suppose. Go with the flow. That's popular on Twitter today. I don't go with the flow in terms of what most people enjoy watching. Or I don't know. I just never got into it. I never really liked the CGI fest movies. It never really interested me. I don't really like fighting movies either. I like real fights. I like watching boxing fights. Excuse me. I like watching boxing. I like watching UFC from time to time. I'll even watch some highlights of wrestling, which is basically performative fighting. But CGI fighting, not really into it. I've heard Dune is really good. I'll watch that. Deadpool, I think that's another one. Like everyone said it was so good, and then it's like hard for me to enjoy something when everyone says it's so good and I'm late. It's just something about my brain. I don't know, but I could try that. I could try Deadpool. I think I've watched a little bit of it before. I mean, I heard Wolverine was also really good. I tried watching that. I couldn't really watch it. I don't know. I'm just not into it as much. I'm more into a movie like Friendship, like we talked about, movies that don't really have a whole lot of action. It's more about the emotional, the cringe. Although I did enjoy Sinners, and there was definitely some CGI in Sinners, but I wouldn't put that on the same level as an Avengers in terms of like fight scenes and things like that. But I guess that's it for me today, guys. I enjoyed talking about random things with you as we tend to do on the show. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let's get some analytical boosts in here. And I shall talk with you all soon. And enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your upcoming weekend. And we will talk again soon. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Peace out.
Static Selector.